If you're interested in finding out how this simple man from Omaha, Nebraska managed to transform the world of investing and finance, as well as find out why he lives in a house that he bought for only $31,500 back in 1958, then here is Warren Buffett, Lifestyle and Biography. So let's dive right into it, shall we? Short bio. Warren Edward Buffett was born on the 30th of August, 1930. This means that this billionaire has just turned 90 this year, and he still continues to eat junk food, but we'll talk about that a little further in this video. Now let's talk a little bit about his life. His town of birth is Omaha, Nebraska, and that's where he started his very first business, the holding company Berkshire Hathaway. He has often praised that his commute to work is only 5 minutes long, so he doesn't waste any of his precious time in the car, driving. And how much is his time worth? Well, this is the man that has been on the Forbes list of the wealthiest people in the world. And in 2008, he had just beaten Bill Gates as the wealthiest man in the world when he took Bill down after his 13-year reign. So, how much wealth are we actually talking about here? Well, according to Forbes, this jovial investment titan is currently worth $78.2 billion as of 2020. The secret behind his wealth is the strategy that he learned from his friend and mentor, Benjamin Graham, about value investing. And while some people try to time the market, this man only buys companies and he holds them for prolonged periods of time, or forever. So he has been the major shareholder in companies like Coca-Cola, where he's a 10% shareholder, Apple, Bank of America, American Express, and Kraft Heinz. Now, don't you go off thinking that Warren Buffett buys the shares of these companies himself. He uses Berkshire Hathaway as a holding company to buy billions and billions of shares in companies around the world. And then he makes his money by owning 31.7% of a $494.42 billion company. But we've been going on and on about Berkshire Hathaway, so let's switch it up a little. Here's Warren Buffett's childhood and family. Now, if you wanted to know how this made so much money in his life, all of his investing secrets and the strategy to wealth building is disclosed in his letters to the shareholders, which anyone can read for free on the Berkshire Hathaway website. But Warren wasn't always the rich kid on the block. In fact, back in the day, he was pretty average. His mother was a housewife and he was the middle child in a family of 5. His father was a congressman, but that didn't mean he lived like a king. In fact, his allowance back in the 30s was only a nickel a week. So, feeling like that's not enough funding which he would use to build his empire, he became his own boss. But the one thing that distinguished him from other children was his desire to read. He consumed books like a furnace consumes wood. The first book that marked him was the one called 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. And that's where it all began. He started working like a Coca-Cola delivery boy. He sold gum door to door, and even newspapers and magazines. This helped him put a lot of savings aside when he was just a child, and this helped him start various businesses when he was just a child. Then he went to college, and he finished it in 3 years because he was practically a genius. His roommate would get mad at him because he only studied for about 15 minutes and would ace the freaking test. To pay for his college, he spent his savings buying a farm. He employed a farmer, and the money the farmer earned from selling the products, he used to pay for his education. But he didn't get accepted at Harvard Business School. But here's why he said it was the best thing that happened to him. Soon after, he found that Professor Benjamin Graham and Professor David Dodd were holding investment classes. He attended every lecture, and he has always remembered 2 rules from Ben. 1. Don't lose money. 2. Don't forget about rule number 1. Houses and mansions. Over time, Warren managed to build a comfortable nest egg by investing in American stocks, and at the beginning, he didn't have too much money. So, after he got married to the witty Susan Thompson, he decided to buy a house. But the money he spent on the down payment wasn't nearly close to his means. He could have bought a much more expensive house, but here's why he opted in for a cheaper one. In one Q&A session with the audience, Warren told everyone that he didn't want to spend more than 10% of his net worth on a down payment, as he wanted to use the money for more lucrative investments, aka stocks. So he ended up spending about $31,500 in total on a family home in Nebraska, which he bought back in 1958. Now, mind you, this was a lot of money back then. Adjusted for inflation, the house would now cost more than $280,000, so it was in no way cheap. And since then, he has remained in that home until today. Now, although this is pretty much the definition of frugality, the house does have some pretty good features. Since it houses one of the wealthiest men in the world, the house does have high fences and a security camera system. It has 5 bedrooms, 25 bathrooms, and a surface area of 6,570 square feet. This house is currently worth about the Oracle of Omaha has splurged on other houses in his life. This was the 84-year-old house that was built with only about $150,000. It's located in Emerald Bay, near Laguna Beach, California. But since he bought it, Buffett listed his home for an astounding $11 million. But since houses in that neighborhood were going for about $6.5 million, he ended up selling it below the asking price at just $7.9 million. Success story and awards. Now, we've already talked about Buffett's success story. He managed to create a company that's a regular on the America S&P 500 index. That's pretty much everything he has done his entire life. Back in the 80s and 90s, he was the most prominent investor, and at this time he became BFFs with billionaire Bill Gates. Now, as for the awards, there aren't too many awards that we can talk about, unless you consider making people millions and billions of dollars an award. Aside from investing and making a ton of money, he did sign the Giving Pledge. This is a document that many billionaires have signed, and one where he agrees he will give away 99% of his wealth to charity after his passing. Cars and bikes. Just like he was frugal with his houses, he was frugal with his cars as well. Warren Buffett has been a regular at the Cadillac dealership, but only after he has driven the previous car for about 10 years. Here's what we mean. Back in 2006, he bought a Cadillac DTS, and he drove the car until 2014. That's when his daughter told him it's time for an upgrade, and he switched to the Cadillac XTS, which he bought for a measly $45,000. Now, even though the car was pretty expensive, the man has enough money to buy the entire freaking dealership and still not break the bank. As for bikes, his conservative nature doesn't allow him to have one. Interests and hobbies. His main interest, investing, some of the other interests, investing, and more investing. So there's not much we could say about his hobbies, but we could give you an array for fast facts. So here goes. He has owned a flip phone until recently. He has sent an email only once in his life. Despite being 90, he still eats McDonald's every morning. He drinks 5 cans of Coke a day. His most valuable certificate is the one he received from attending Dale Carnegie's public speaking course. It's the only one displayed in his office. And on that note, we end this video. But hey, which celebrity's lifestyle would you like to see a video for in the future? You can tell us in the comment section below. If you'd like more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.